Hello, YouTube. Hi, how is everyone? Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're watching this in the replay. Welcome in. Hi. So I have a
61% of employees suffer from burnout on the job.
Sorry about that.
Maybe you or someone you know is in that 61%.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me turn this off. So I have a funny little story that I'll start sharing, which actually goes right along with today's live stream. This is exactly how my life unfolds. Everything just flows perfectly together. So I had the topic of this live stream decided on. Hi, Anjana. Hi, welcome in. I had this topic on my mind. I literally saw it in a dream, like it wouldn't leave me alone that I have to talk about this topic. And so, as you guys know, we were having the work, like the rooms painted and then the kitchen redone. And then right after that, I had my Fire Flow and Goddess Consciousness Retreat intensive. Oh my God, it was amazing, 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 amazing. So intense, so powerful. And then when I came back from that, I was like, okay, now I'm going to do this topic. And as the divine would have it, every time I'm called to do something, it's almost like I have to go back and relive it so that I can really give this information to you guys. So I noticed that yesterday I had a whole bag of excuses and I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And so I couldn't get to this live stream. So today I had it scheduled for 9:30 a.m., right? And it's like 1:20 when I'm actually doing it now. So at 9:30, I all of a sudden remembered this other thing I had to do. Then one thing led to another, and before you know it, I'm cleaning my house, and then I'm cleaning out my shoe closet, and then I'm organizing Alina's closet, and then I'm like running Roomba, so now it's too noisy. And then I called myself out on my BS, and I said, Mina, you're hiding. You're hiding, you're hiding, you're hiding, you're keeping yourself small, you're afraid to take up space, you're afraid to, right after this intensive, show back up on here again and be like, hi, me again, right? So you've gone in hiding. And of course, this is the exact topic that we're really going to dive into today because we all do this. We all do this. I mean, most women are doing this in such a scary way that they're just afraid to ask for their basic human rights, right? Hi, Chloe, domestic. Welcome in, everyone. Say hi. Let me know that you're listening. And so I feel like I had, done my inner work around this. I'm one of those people that are like not afraid to hide. Like I'm on here, doing my work I'm on Facebook. I'm emailing you guys. Like I'm doing this work. But I feel like I needed to backtrack a little bit and relive this experience so I can fully feel all of the bullshit excuses that we tell ourselves, all of the other ways that we keep ourselves hiding. So I had a couple of experiences just in the last few days where I really want to talk about the alchemy of feminine energy, the alchemy of your soul, and what it really means to be a modern day reincarnation of feminine energy, right? Because human females are basically just incarnated feminine energy. Feminine energy exists in all things, in the cosmos, in places, and things, and it exists in us in large doses if we're born female, and we also have masculine energy. I've talked about this before. Shelly, oh my God, hi. Happy to see you again, Chelsea. Vidya, welcome. Yes, hi. So I had been running away and hiding, and here I am. So when I had last year a really huge, profound spiritual experience. I mean, so out there, so crazy, so potent, so alive, so full that it scared me. It was really earth shattering, soul shifting, scary even for me to go to that level. And I had a few people that I shared this experience with, and I had this thing where I can't share this with you guys. Like it's too out there, it's too scary. You guys are gonna think it's too woo-woo. Like once again, like like I can go here, but I can't go here, kind of thing. So I had this intensive coming up, and I knew that I was going to be in this very intimate space with my goddess divas that came. Thank you so much for making this journey. I know it's not easy to take the time off of work, to book the hotel, the airport, to work, get over your illnesses and your bullshit excuses and your fatigue and all that, and your families and childcare, and come see me and do this spiritual work. So thank you for that. And I knew that I was going to be in this intimate space, and I know how vulnerable and open and sacred these spaces can be. So as I'm going into the pajama party, I'm like, Mina, whatever you do, don't share that. Don't share it. Don't share that soul thing. Whatever you do not share that soul thing. So we're all there. We're all eating our snacks. We're having our drinks. We're all getting to know each other. And what does Mina do? It's like I couldn't even contain myself. I shared the story. What happened? What do you think happened? It was like this activation in this room, because even the girls, there were some girls there that had just started their inner work. Like this was kind of their first experience in like doing this kind of sacred sisterhood. And then there were women that were a little bit more advanced in this work. But the funny thing that happened, the not surprising thing, is that it activated almost everyone on different levels. I mean, some of the girls reached out to me later and said, Mina, I want to hear more. Like that really resonated with me. Like it activated something in me. And why am I sharing this with you right now? I'm sharing this with you because some of the things that we are most, not some of, most of the things that we are most afraid to show, the parts of us that we want to keep wrapped up and hidden and stowed away in darkness, where no one can judge us and no one can call us out on anything and no one can hate on us, are exactly the things that the right people out there are dying to hear. They're dying to hear. Their soul is craving it. Their soul is craving it. And if you get all in your ego and in your head of like, oh no, like I want to be liked and I want to be known as a spiritual leader that's like clean and not like messy and, so woo-woo and out there, then you keep censoring yourself. But that is exactly the thing that people need to hear. Right? So that experience happens to me. And then yesterday, I have this, like, some of my closest friends know this. For the last 6 months, there has been something birthing inside of me that has been dying to come out. And if you guys know me intimately, then you know that when I have a creative spark, like I have to run, like I run with it. I don't even know where the information is going to come from. It's all divinely channeled. It's all given to me in divine time, according to divine design, according to divine plan. Like I don't make these programs. They make me. They just come to me. But for some reason, I kept saying, no, this is too out there. It's too crazy. It's too high reaching. Like no one needs this. No one wants it. You shouldn't do this, Mina. And I kept making all of these BS excuses of why I couldn't launch this. And then I convinced my husband and some of my closest friends to also convince me that I shouldn't be doing this. And this is what we do. This is the power of us keeping ourselves small and sending our energy to other people. When they sensed that I was kind of hesitant, they started feeding off of that same energy. So everyone's like, yeah, don't do this. And so I do some of my powerful rituals for my 2020 activation. And now this thing has grown so big, it's created its own energetic field around me. And it's like, you have to launch this. Like you have to do this. So yesterday I'm sitting there going, okay, I've designed the sales page. Like I've emailed out some people about it, not everyone. Like please give me a strong sign, dear divine, my guides, my angels, please give me a strong sign that I need to do this, that someone out there needs this. I just need one small sign and I'm jumping. So a couple hours later, I get this beautiful, long, heart-centered, just vulnerable email from a woman. Hi, Rachel. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to say your name. Love you. Thank you so much for emailing me. Who was asking for that exact thing. So I replied back to her. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for sending me this email. I really needed to hear this. I actually asked for my guides to show me a sign. And yes, I have exactly what you need. Let's talk tomorrow. So as you guys know, I don't do calls. I don't do like free sales calls or any of those things. I got on a call with her today. I needed her to know that she had emailed me for me. And the funny thing is, she sits there going, well, I wanted to email you for a while, but I was like, Mina's so busy. She doesn't have time for this. This is going to be too long of an email. I shouldn't bother her. And she almost didn't email me. But you see, I had put into motion this thing by asking my guides. And so she emailed me because I needed that email and she needed this program. So this is such a beautiful like pulling together of this powerful sisterhood, the sacred energetic field that we've now activated. And so she's telling me her story of how she did the High Value Worthy Women program and some things activated in her, and now she wants more and she wants this next level. And without realizing it, she becomes a part of my story, my own activation, my own not playing small. And she becomes this large level, up-leveling learning of what happens on not only a huge cosmic level, but on a personal level too. When we keep ourselves small, we keep everyone else kind of trapped and small right along with us. People feed off of hesitancy, yes, especially the masculine. Oh my God, yes, that is so true. If you go to your man and if you have any sort of I shouldn't do this energy in you, and you could go and sound very confident, he can pick up on that and he will do the right thing by telling you, yeah, babe, you probably shouldn't do that. And from his accord, like he's doing the right thing. But you're like, oh yeah, see, I shouldn't do this. And so this is something that one of the topics that actually came up a lot in the Fire Flow Intensive that I knew that I needed to also talk about on a large scale here is that a really truly activated queen, a woman that's fully embodied in not only her feminine energy, but also in her masculine energy. She's fully integrated, fully whole, fully one with the divine. She is a queen because she is also a king. And I really want you to just really soak that in. She is a queen because she is also a king. You cannot be a queen without also having the king part of you that's activated. So you need both the doing and the being aspects of you. You need both of the surrender and the decision-making, leadership, trustworthy qualities in you. Because what happens is that if you are not fully activated and grounded and embodied in your femininity and also activated in your masculinity, you keep other people small, even relationships. So this is a conversation that Irfan and I were having a while back, and it was such a life-changing moment for me because there was always a part of me that said, Mina, you have this, this, and this, be grateful. Why do you need more? Right? Why are you asking for more? And there was also always that little voice that said, but you have so much, why must you have more? And this is something that I have since I'll share with you the conversation that really activated this in me with Irfan. And then I asked this question of my guides and the answer that I got. So Irfan and I were talking about, I was just saying to him, you know, thank you so much for doing this for me, this for me, this for me. But I also want this thing. And then I was kind of giggling and just saying, is it okay to want more? And this unleashed this beautiful conversation. He said, it is absolutely okay to want more. It is absolutely okay to have desires. It is your desire that activates me and motivates me and wants me to do more. So the conversation we ended up having, oh my God, this was so life-changing. We were talking about how there could be one woman, and she could be a fully embodied feminine energy woman. She could be super sweet, super loving, and she wants to surrender to her man, and she wants to appreciate what he's doing. And let's say that her man has a job where he is working really hard and he's earning $10 an hour, let's say, and he's doing his best, and he brings over his paycheck and he hands it to her, and she is so grateful and so appreciative, and she uses that money to run the household, and they live happily ever after. That is a good relationship. They support each other, they're happy, they are appreciative of each other's gifts, right? And if you ask a man, like, that is the vision of what every man will, a lot of men might say that this is a relationship that they so desire. But really, if you look at couple number 2, which I will share with you, which is a fully awakened, activated, fully embodied queen, a woman like me whose husband comes home, and let's say my husband also earns $10 an hour and works somewhere and works hard, equally hard, comes home to me and I say, baby, this is so good, thank you so much. However, you're capable of so much more, and I believe in you, and I want this, this, and this, while also appreciating this. This woman has activated a next level of growth in this man, right? She appreciates what he's bringing to the table, but she also has these lovely, juicy desires, and she doesn't blame him. She doesn't ask anything of him. She doesn't force anything of him. She appreciates what he is bringing to the table, while she's also saying, and I want this, this, and this, right? Because a activated woman is so deep in her knowing that she might say, I'm going over here. This is a beautiful path. I'm going up. I'm in my growth. And her man has 2 options. He either falls through. I mean, he falls away. The universe divinely deselects him because he can't keep up with that level of growth, or he has no choice but to up level, right? So do you think that every man out there wants a woman like me? Absolutely not. I probably terrify most men, right? Because the man that just wants to stay safe and hidden, and he just wants a yes woman that's just going to go along with all of his whatever he's currently doing, he's not going to want a woman like me. But a man that is on his way to achieving his life's purpose, to wanting to be fully embodied as a king, he's going to want an equal partner that can call him out when he's playing small, that can mirror back to him when he's not fully standing in his divinity, right? That can mirror back to him when he's fully not aligned with his true purpose, when he's not acting in full integrity. This is not going to be a yes woman, right? She's not going to shame him. She's not going to pull him down. She's going to love him. She's going to accept him, but she's also going to desire that he stand up to his full potential. So this is about women activating their full divinity, having a voice. This is what I mean when I say you're fully embodied in your feminine energy, but you're also activated, because this isn't, feminine energy isn't about, we were really in our masculine energy, which most of us were. But now we're going to switch that flavor onto this really demure, quiet, going along with everything flavor, and then not have a voice. So I often get messages from women saying that their partner has control of all finances and they can't make any financial decisions, or he decides this and this and this and they don't know how to speak up. So that's not feminine energy. As a feminine energy activated, full-bodied woman, like where you have really embodied your true divinity, you have all the say in the relationship pretty much. The masculine lives to please you, right? So you have to know that your voice isn't optional, it is a requirement. It is a requirement. Your inner work is a requirement. Your divinity is a requirement. You being highly aligned with your truth, with your own purpose, with your own direction is a necessity. I mean, could you just have a very safe quiet relationship where you are safe and you just completely are surrendered to your partner, and then he leads the show and does everything and you just follow along. Yes, you can actually have a pretty cozy life that way, right? But if you end up attracting a king that wants to be fully embraced and awakened as a king, he's going to need an awakened woman. He's not going to want someone that has no preferences, has no say, doesn't know what her desires are, doesn't know how to own her desires, doesn't have a voice. Like, that's not what's going to awaken him as a king. We need each other to fit into this, to really be in this sacred communion and relationship with each other, right? This is the work that I've been teaching you guys in the Sacred Feminine, that it's not, in the Sacred Feminine and Conscious Couples as a joint unit, that this isn't about being this passive person in a relationship where we've just handed over all of our rights. One of the things that came up in the Fire and Flow Intensive was that a lot of women, our ancestors, they shed flesh, tears, blood. They made a lot of sacrifices to give us the rights that we now take for granted. I mean, even the people that are out there saying, I reject feminism, right? And you have the right to do that. The fact that you have the choice and the right to reject feminism is because of feminism. Like that's the great irony of that. So the fully embodied, activated feminine is a modern day alchemy, a modern day transformation, a modern day incarnation of the feminist movement and also of the femininity movement. And it's that's why I call it modern day femininity in the 21st century. So it's not about rejecting feminism completely. Has feminism gone a little bit in the opposite direction and now we're like, some of us are male bashing and all of that? Yes, it's gone a little bit in the other direction. We can reel it in a little bit. But do we completely reject it? The irony of it is that even if you're fully rejecting it, the fact that you now have a choice to do that is because of the feminist movement. So it is all valid. It's up to us to take all of that and create our own version of art from it. It is not about being passive. It is not about not having a voice. It's not about letting your man make all the decisions in the relationship while you passively sit back. That is not what the activated feminine is about. Love that the masculine lives to please you. Yes, he does. And actually, that can also come up twisted sometimes for us. So let me give you an example of that. Every time back in the day, every time I wanted to do something amazing, I wanted to do something a little bit out of my comfort zone, I wanted to do something a little bit next level, I would ask my husband, almost like I was seeking his permission and his approval. And what was his answer all the time? No, you shouldn't do that. Or this and this will happen if you do that. Or I know so-and-so that did that and it didn't end well. All the time, the answer was, no, don't do it. It's too scary. It's too out there. And I was like, okay, well, what gives, right? And so it was like I was always needing his permission to do so. And when I really started diving in deep into this work and learning how the masculine psyche and the way that they've evolved to think, process, and function in this world and in relationship, it really it was an aha moment that the masculine lives to protect and provide for the people that they love. So if my partner loves me and adores me and wants to protect me, his natural tendency will be for anything, it will towards me will be no, don't try anything new, keep yourself safe. If she goes out and does something really big and scary in the world, am I still going to be able to protect her? So what's the default answer for anything that I would ask? No, don't do it. Versus if I know that this is kind of us being in our fear consciousness, first of all, I don't need anyone's permission to do my divine work, to do the work that I'm being called to do. I don't need anyone's permission except to give myself my own permission to do it. I don't even need my brain's permission because the brain will also do anything it can to keep me small and safe. So if I just say, hey, I'm going here, I'm doing this, The person that really loves me and adores me will come along to protect me and provide for me anyways. And that he's done. That he's done. Right? He comes along and protects me and provides for me in every way possible. But if I ask for his permission, his default answer will be, that sounds scary for you. Am I going to be able to protect you? But it's going to come across in wrapped up in all kinds of fear consciousness of like, no, that's not a good idea. Maybe next year, right? Vidya said, Mina, I needed to hear this today. And all day I've been avoiding doing this video. And you needed to hear this today. So this is what I'm saying, that someone in your life needs you to stand up and give yourself permission to do whatever it is that you are being called to do. Someone in your life, it may be your partner, it may be your child, it may be your friend, it may be a client, it may be a colleague, it may be the neighbor across the street that you don't even notice. You don't know who that person is going to be. So, let me share something with you. This was such a, I'm going to get emotional sharing this with you. I remember, so you guys know my story of like how I was sexually molested and abused for most of my childhood. And I didn't know this, but underlying, like I just had this like trapped fear in me. And I just didn't know it because even with this trapped fear underlying running the show, I was still a very powerful force in the world because that's just how divinely connected and huge the feminine force is. Like even with that running the show, I ended up doing amazing, brilliant things in my life. But I remember this one time I heard one of my children saying to someone very compassionately, but very honestly. And it like came like almost like a dagger through my heart. I heard them say, Mommy is afraid of everything. That was such a sad but honest and truthful representation of the mother that I had become. And I needed my child to show me the mirror. Don't do this, you're gonna get hurt. Don't go too far. Don't do this. Don't talk too straight. Don't do this. You're gonna fall. Are you okay? Be careful. And the message that I was sending subconsciously, like subliminally, was the world is a scary place. I do not trust you. I cannot keep you safe. Be careful. There's a lot of danger out there. And that one simple statement of, Mommy is afraid of everything, made me wake the F up. Is that what I want to infect my children with? That the world is a scary place? Keep yourself small because God forbid you should get hurt. Guess what? You are here to get hurt. This is Life University. Welcome. You're gonna get bruised up and banged up and beaten down sometimes, and then you're gonna get up and then you're gonna do it all over again. Welcome to Life University. But that was not the message that I was sending to my children. I was keeping them so small out of my fear, and I was disguising it as love. It was all packed up beautifully as a mother's love and care. Love you, Mina. Just joined. Hi, Sakina. How can you tell between protection and possessiveness? That is such a good question. So I'm going to give you actual concrete ways to tell. But one of the things that I will say to you particularly is that as you do the Sacred Feminine program, you're going to wake up your intuition. And as your intuition more aligns with your embodiment, like you start really just running from that function, you will be able to feel it. Possessiveness is coming from this wounded masculine energy of like, I own you. You cannot make your own decisions. It's not a level of support. It's a level of like you're a property. Like I forbid you from doing it versus, no, I think this is a bad idea, right? Getting angry. Let me give you an example. So when I wanted to do these retreats, these intensives, Irfan thought it was a bad idea because I was looking for his permission, and he was like, oh my God, Mina's gonna be in a room full of people she hasn't met from all over the internet. That sounds scary. So he wasn't saying that to me. He just kept saying, I think it's a bad idea. So this happened a few times where I asked him, he said, and then I just like decided that I was going to do it. And I said, babe, I've announced my retreat. It's happening this and this and this date. And he said, well, I'm going to have to come with you. And I said, are you sure? Okay, well, thanks. I mean, you don't have to, but that would be lovely. He's like, no, I need to be with you. We don't know who's going to show up. These are all people from the internet. And then I could hear like why he had been saying no all along, why he was so afraid of me doing this, because he wanted to make sure that he would be able to protect him. And so then when I told him, no, there's an interviewing process, I'm only taking clients I've already worked with, it was like this, okay. I mean, and you guys know, for those of you guys that have attended, he shows up to these, right? He's there working with the women. He helps some of my clients like book flights, like in whatever way he's needed, he's there. Now, if he was a possessive man, he would have gotten really upset with me and angry, like, how dare I do this without his permission? Now, it's very different, right? But as you hone in on your intuition and you attract a level of mastery in your own embodiment, that is what you will be pulling in your partner as well. When it is mirrored, it is so powerful. Yes, I love that. We send out so many messages subconsciously. Okay, someone's trying to promoting yourself is not deleted. I'm gonna have to take you out. Okay. Raviti said, what a beautiful name. The moment I came to on the live, you have been speaking straight to all the questions that I have been coming up for. I love your work. Oh my God, this is why if you guys have noticed, I changed the name of my school into Soul Academy, because what I've been really running up, like not running, but like flowing into in the last year is that how much soul aligned my clients now are, my students now are, and even just my viewers. It's like just the right message, and it's the two-way street. Sometimes, like I shared in the example with the email coming in yesterday, it's also the other way around. Like when I need to hear something from you, you give it to me exactly in the words that I need to hear it. So this is really, really powerful work. We are all connected on a soul level. We've been saying this, but now you can feel it. You can energetically feel it, because our growth, when one woman grows, you've heard that saying, and it was something I used to take lightly, but boy, I don't take it lightly now. That when a woman heals herself, she heals 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. Oh my God, do I know this on a soul level now? This is so true. This is so true. This is so true. As I heal myself, as I've already healed myself, as I step into my next level of healing and activation, all the people that love me and are connected to me on a deeply soul level, they all end up leveling. And it's not like I up level and then I have a conversation with them. They are immediately up leveled by being in my energetic field. It's an immediate transfer. So if you haven't done your inner work and your energetic aura and your energetic field is merging in with other people's unhealed energetic field, you're all just creating this weird emotional toxic chemistry, and then that's what you carry with you. And then you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep attracting the same low vibes, low level interactions in my life? Because I haven't done the inner work, right? And so before I continue on, I've got so much more to share with you guys. I want to talk about, this is the launch that I have been putting off for the last 6 months, but I'm finally ready to unlock my high-end divinity university. So it is a level on to the Sacred Feminine Intensive. It starts on March 7th, and if this soul work, if this deep level embodiment is calling on to you, and for some reason you've either done the Sacred Feminine Intensive or you've been putting it off, this is the time to join it. I have linked it in the description box. Go and check it out. It basically takes So, you know how you do my high value worthy woman ascension program, and then you do the sacred feminine intensive, and then you do the magnetism program, and then you're like, okay, Mina, like, what's my next level? Like, I want to be of service. This is it. This is it. This is the program that will work. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it all together. I'm going to have you do the high value worthy woman extension again. Even if you've done it, you're going to do the new version. Then you're going to do the sacred feminine intensive with me live, and then you're going to do the high end divinity university. This is a 6-month intensive. It's deeply, energetically healing. This is healing on a soul level, really clearing out all of our deep embodied pains and traumas, whether that's just you in this lifetime or something that you have been carrying because of your ancestors, so that you can be that clear vessel, so that the divine can move through you and create this sacred level of space of healing for all of humanity. And you need to check it out. I know that this is going to call out to the right people. I know that I've been dancing around this and putting this off. You guys have been asking for it. It is time. It is divine time. I asked for one last sign yesterday, and of course I got that lovely email from the woman I just told you about, and so I know it's time. So check that out. I'm going to read some comments and take some questions. Maggie said, yes, you are speaking to me. I am stumped. I have a fear of heights and it's limited me from travel. I'm determined to overcome it, but overwhelming me and giving me anxiety. Any tips? Oh my God. So yes, I have tips for you. I'll give you some of the more subconscious level and then the soul level. So you guys know I had a fear of roller coasters, I had a fear of water, and I overcame all of that. And the first thing I did was I would imagine myself doing mind. That's it. I wouldn't go do it. I just imagined myself doing it. Every time I imagined myself doing it, I would be wearing the same outfit, the same hairdo, the same makeup. Then when it was time to go do it, I put on that same outfit, that same makeup, and then I went on and I did it as if I had always been doing it. Because the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a picture, a visualization, something in a dream, something in imagination, or if it's actually happening. So that's how I overcame these things. Now let me tell you something else that really interesting that happened to me at the Fire and Flow Intensive. And this is going to be really out there. This is the kind of stuff that I'm often afraid to share with you guys because it's so out there. But this is the stuff that I share with my more deep, close groups. But I'm going to share it with you. I haven't even fully processed it. So I've had a lot of deep soul work done. And through some of the soul work, it was really revealed to me that one of my friends who actually ended up being she was a subscriber, and we ended up being friends when she emailed me 5-6 years ago. So she has even come to visit me. She was at the Fire and Flow Intensive, and it was revealed to me through some of my soul work. I asked the question that every time I talk to her, even though she's my student, she's my friend, why do I feel like she is my advisor? And the answer was that in my past lifetimes, she has been an advisor. She's played a very strong advisor role in my spiritual work and in my teaching work that I've done in past lifetimes. And this is what I'm doing in this lifetime as well. So I thought that was quite interesting. I told her about it. She said it really resonated with her, and that she couldn't understand why she felt this deep level of love and attachment with me. And that kind of explained it. Side note, Irfan is the only one. Irfan and this woman are the only two people that have like all of my passwords. Like these are the only two people on the planet, right? That like I trust on that gut level. So she was just a subscriber, but we had this weird connection. So I'm telling you that story to tell you this. I have one last fear left. This is my only fear. I do not fear death. I have this one last fear, and this annoys the hell out of me. And the fear is dogs. Of all things, I'm like deadly afraid of dogs. And so I said that I was going to overcome this, that I was going to overcome this year. I'm not going to be afraid of dogs anymore. And so I had decided that eventually I'm going to do the practice, the subconscious practice of imagining myself not being afraid of dogs and then getting over it. Here's the funny thing. So Femina comes. Femina is the lady I'm talking about, my dear, dear friend, my advisor for many lifetimes. She comes over for the fire and flow. And so she picks me up from the hotel and she's like, let's go to the grocery store. And we were going to buy some snacks for the girls that were coming for the pajama party. So we parked the car, we're walking to the store, and right out at the front of the door, there's a dog. And typically, right, usually if there's a dog at the front of the door, like I can't go in. Like I will have to go in another door or the dog has to move. And for some reason, I went in and the dog touched my leg and I had no fear, absolutely zero fear. In fact, at one point when I walked in, Femina turned around and looked really strangely at the dog. I haven't even discussed this with her because I want to ask her, why did you look? So I didn't even have time to think about it at the time. We did the grocery, the intensive was intense. I come back home and I'm like, what the hell was that? Right? I wasn't afraid. Like, not only was I afraid, like he touched me, right? So I meditate on it and I ask my guides, and the answer that I get is that the first time that fear occurred happened with Femina in a different lifetime. And so the way that I was walking in with her, the way that I was on mission, it activated that point in time and space where I wasn't afraid of dogs. And she needed to be there for that to be activated. So how weird is that this year I say that I'm going to get over this fear of dogs. This year I'm having the fire and flow intensive. This year Femina comes to the intensive. She's never come to one before. And right at that moment, we have that exact transaction in moment in time. She even turned around and looked at the dog a little bit funny. She has a dog, so I'm going to ask her why she did that. I haven't spoken to her yet. But look at like in that moment, had stepped into that time of space of before the dog, right? Because remember, we humans perceive time and space differently than it is actually happening in the huge, wide cosmic realm. And so in that moment, I wasn't afraid of dogs. And it was just this beautiful, beautiful moment for me. So back to the fear of heights, there is a fear, because for example, I was so deadly afraid of water. I had no incident of ever happening where I should be afraid of water. So sometimes these fears are something that we are actually born with. They're on a soul level. That soul had that fear from a previous lifetime, and so you carried that on in this incarnation. But there is a part of you that also doesn't have that fear. So you can activate that by consciously practicing it, saying some invocations that I release this fear, I release this fear, I release this fear, I'm healed now, I'm healed now, I'm healed now, I'm no longer afraid, I unleash my fear. And you can say, and so it is, it's done. And practice visualizing yourself, seeing yourself doing that next level thing, and you will be surprised at how fast you can shed that old programming. If you attack it from all angles, one of the things that I said at the fire and flow intensive is that a lot of times people will do mindset work, and then other times the behavior work, and they're all valid, but they need to be put together. And that's kind of the technique that I've used in a lot of my program, most of my programs, is that I have you do the mindset work with the behavioral shift, because they both work separately. They really do, but they take longer. And if you're going to make this investment and step in fully embodied, why not attack the issue from all situations? And actually, in my higher level programs, such as the High-End Divinity University, I'm adding a third realm to it, which is that we're going soul level. We're not just doing mindset now and behavior, we're going soul level. We're attacking it on the level of, where did I first acquire this? If it wasn't in this lifetime, like, where is it coming from? Is it something that my parents infected me with? Is it something that my ancestors passed down from an evolutionary history? Or is it something that my soul was carrying, because this is kind of my karmic history that I'm here to clear and transcend past? Wow, you are God sent. Thank you. You are welcome, Maggie. Maggie said, I remember your swimming story and I'm trying to follow that. I have also thought of past life experiences, as I don't know why the deep sense of my fear. Still trying to work through it. Thank you. Yes, that was that's part of the scary story that I ended up sharing. It's not scary, it's just very out there, of when I had my soul's blueprint pulled. Like, not like some of the things resonated with me, all of the things so deep. It explained everything, why I'm afraid of certain things, why I'm not afraid of certain things, like why I have certain pains in certain levels of my body, why, what parts of me I've already healed. I mean, it was just so clear. And this is the next level work that we will be doing in the High End Divinity University. It is not for everyone. If you are just starting your inner work, I definitely recommend that you start with my my like law of attraction program, and what I'm calling the law of attraction program, the feminine abundance program. It's funny because a lot of people that took it thought it was like going to be anti-religion, or somehow they're going to have to like make peace with their religion with it. But really, I ended up getting emails that, oh, like this is so in line with religion, and it's like all different religions. But because the law of attraction, it's the divine law of abundance. It's not separate from God. It is God, right? We're tapping into God as our supply. We're tapping into divine design. It's not like here's God and here's law of attraction. Where the law of attraction is the process of tapping into God. And as I say in that program, God will never run out. God will never run out. There's more than enough God for everyone. There is more than enough God for you. There's more than enough God for me, and there's more than enough God for all human beings, all light beings, and all beings in all universes and all planes of existence, because we all come from that one infinite source anyways. Whatever name you want to call it, whatever bow you want to put it in, whether you want to separate it into 10 different goddesses and 10 different gods, it all still comes from that one infinite creator source, which we're all part of. Right? So it's not going to run out. We haven't even begin to tap into it yet. We're just in the beginning evolutionary stages of our humanity, of our consciousness. So trust me, there's more than enough for everyone of everything. You just have to ask. You just have to activate it. And that's what I'm here to teach you. Visualizing is so powerful. I'm getting shivers while you're saying this. My dear Chloe, I love you, I love you, I love you. Chloe needed so deeply needed to be at the Fire and Glow. We needed her to be there. She needed to be there. Some spirits that have passed on recently needed her to be there. And oh my God, what's this? I mean, I feel like I say this about every intensive, but every intensive gets deeper and deeper. As I'm invoking this next level, high-end divinity level of me, as God is moving through me like stronger and stronger, as my inner work is getting deeper and more spiritual, the level of clients that I'm calling for, the level of support that I'm able to offer is going deeper and deeper, and I'm feeling so blessed. I'm already planning the next one. And that's why I'm doing this high-end divinity. I want to be able to see you guys live in the live streams, and it's going to be fantastic. She said, I love you so much. There are tears in my eyes right now. I'm so grateful. And Chloe, I'm so grateful for you. Oh my God. Guys, sisterhood is such a powerful force. It is such a powerful force. I remember at one time, we were all sitting around in the pajama party. I had created this beautiful space with rose petals. So the way I had dressed up my suite was when the women, the ladies walked in the door, they were led through these rose petals and candlelight, and then they walked into my fuzzy rugs, which you guys know I love, and we all sat around. And in that moment, there was this one moment, I think I even said it, that this is the power of sacred sisterhood. And this is why women getting together in groups have been banished, have been burned at the stake, have been, torn down, have been crucified, have been killed, it's like it's so powerful that it scares weak people. It scares weak people. It scares people that are looking in from the outside because they cannot understand why does it feel so much like magic. And it feels so much like magic because it's pure divine love moving through the sacred womb of femininity. It is magic. But I mean, how can you be sitting in the middle of the universe somewhere on a rock and not think that the world is magic? How could you? How could you separate those two things in your brain and not realize that everything is magic? Right? I shared with the girls at the intensive, there was this moment a few weeks ago when Alina said, Mommy, look up at the sky. And in that instant, I looked, but I was like, look up at the sky. We are in the sky. And I said this to her. I said, baby, you know that we are in the sky, right? And she's like, but the sky is up there. I said, but it's also down there. There could be someone down there literally looking up at us right now going, Mommy, look up at the sky. Because think about it. Where is the planet? Where is Earth in relation to all the other things in the cosmos that we can see? We can't see it all. There's some things we can see. We're right up there with it. It's not like we're down over here somewhere, little old us looking up there. And I don't know why this came for me in that moment, but it was like, holy smokes, I'm not some little person here looking up the sky. I am in the sky. Like, I am the sky. I am the divinity. I am that thing that I glorify up there that's separate from me. I am it. I am it in human manifestation. So we have to stop thinking there's magic, there's miracles, there's law of attraction, there's money, and there's little old me. We are all it. We are all part of the divinity. If you do not exist, nothing else exists. Like, it's all part of the system. Oh, my heart, this is so loving. I love you. I love you. I love you. Maggie said, does the headband you wear mean something? It looks halo-ish on you. So you. Thank you. I just love them. I'm not sure why I wear them. I don't know. It makes me feel reminded of the divine royalty that I am, and that I'm here to awaken that in other women. It's not like I've got it all figured out and then there you are. No, we're all part of this. I strongly believe like this. When I first heard this is, I didn't make this up, but when I first heard this, I had soul level goosebumps. I had soul level goosebumps, and I was like, this is so deeply resonating with me. So I was reading this somewhere that the reason that the Earth's vibration and the magnetic field is so quickly shifting, and this fourth density planet is now going into, this third density planet is now going into this fourth density level of love. There's more love awakening, there's more spiritual leaders, there's more channelers, there's more spiritual psychic work. There's so much more connection between the divine and us. Why is that, right? And so I was reading that all of the women that were burned and murdered and raped and shamed for being magic. We are magic. You know, a lot of these women weren't burned for doing some crazy ritual under the moon. They were burned for using herbs to cure diseases. Like you know how, like, if someone has a sore throat, like, we might say, oh, let me make you some ginger tea. Like, that's the level of stuff that people were afraid of, because femininity does seem so much like magic. And a single woman is very, very, very powerful. I hope that I can show you that, for the simple fact that my own healing work has led to thousands of women's transformation. And I say this so humbly. I still cannot believe that God has chosen to move through me in this way. And I thank the divine every day. I'm a humble servant. But one woman's journey. Now imagine if this one woman was to get together with 10 other women under the full moon, talking about fun things and herbs and awakening each other. That could scare people. That I could see why that would seem scary. So those were the women that got together in sisterhood and community, and they up-leveled each other and they uplifted each other. Those are the women that were killed off, that people were afraid of. We are those women incarnated. We are the witches that were burned, because really, what is a witch? It's a woman that's in touch with her magic. It's not just about, it's not black magic. You know what the word black magic reminds me of? The word black magic reminds me of when we see a very successful woman that's really breaking through glass ceilings, doing all her inner work, and then people are like, oh, she probably slept with that guy to get that. Or that woman's probably a prostitute. Why do we say that? Because if we say that, we get to feel safe and big and stay where we are, right here on the floor, and not have to do any work. But if we say, damn, that woman is awoke, that woman is in touch with her magic, that woman is in touch with her divinity, now I have to be like, oh, damn, I have to do something too. Because her light is shining bright, but it's so much easier to say that. So when people say magic is black magic, or the word goddess scares me, my answer to that is, if you deny that the one infinite creator, source energy, is both masculine and feminine, that the union of them is what creates worlds, if you are denying and killing off and vilifying this one whole half of it, and then you're saying, how come my husband doesn't treat me like a god? Because you can't even own up to the fact that God might also be a goddess. You can't even say that. That you can't even accept that you're magic, because the word magic has to have the word black in front of it. Black magic, white magic, pink magic, whatever the F you want to call it, is still magic, and you still have it. I'm sorry if you can't see it. I'm sorry if you've been through stuff. I get it. We've all been victims. We've all been shamed and burned and kept small. But it's time now to be activated. It's because enough women are doing it that you have to see it. You have to see it. Stop calling it different colors and hoping that it goes away. It's not going to go away. You're going to have to hide real bad. Real bad. Like I'm saying, turn off your cable, turn off your internet, go in a cave if you don't want to see fired up, activated women, because they're going to be popping up really fast. Really, really fast. Because enough of us have woken up that we're like really making this happen. So if you don't want to be a part of this, you're going to have to make extra effort to hide from this stuff. You're going to have to make extra effort to hide from it. Because it's here now. It's in the air. It's in the quantum field. It's in our collective consciousness. There's, I don't know what it's called, the 100. Someone can probably tell me. It's called the 100 monkey study or something like that, where if you activate something in the consciousness of one monkey, by the time it goes to the 100 monkey, like it's already been activated in like all monkeys or something. It's like this beautiful thing. I'll try to find it. I keep quoting it and I don't know the full thing of it. But basically, in essence, what it's saying is that if one woman has woken up in your town, like you cannot get by from hiding from the level of healing, power and potency that is in her cosmic field. So if she goes and shops at a store and you go to that store, she doesn't have to be in that store for you to feel like, I feel different. There's something going on with, like, you cannot not get activated. There's enough women activated out there now. So are you going to stay in hiding and keep calling other women names? And this is one of those things where I say us gossiping and tearing other women down is the modern day burning a woman at the stake. And I'm sorry for being so crude. I'm sorry for being so out there with my words, but I'm really here to activate you. And I'm not sorry either, because this is just me and this is how I speak. Because there was this woman that was telling me the story a few years ago. Oh my God. I have to share this with you guys. Oh, this is so true. You are in the zone. I love it. You are here for this work. I cannot not do it. Like it has its own energetic field. It's pulling me along for the ride. That's how I say it. There was this woman telling me the story of this other woman that her husband had brought her from another country. She didn't fully speak the language in the like. She didn't fully speak English. I don't even know if she drove. She had young kids, and then after marrying her, bringing her into this country, he left her. And so this woman was telling me her story, like how lame is this woman? She is, doing these like facials in her house to make ends meet. And I was shocked that this woman actually was telling me the story of like this lame woman, and all I could hear was, what a effing goddess. This woman United States is not her home country. This is not where she got her education. She barely speaks the English, speaks English. She comes here trusting this man, has babies with him, and he walks out on her. She doesn't know what to do, right? She doesn't have any money. What does she do? She has this thing that her mother had taught her when she was little. Like her mother would do these like yogurt kind of facials for her. That's the only thing she knows. So she puts together the ingredients, and she starts inviting the women in her building that live in her complex over for facials, and that's her primary source of income. And another woman is going to make fun of that. Like all I see there is, what a queen, what a goddess. So this is the kind of stuff that we do, because this woman that was telling me this, who is from the United States, who knows the language, who went to school here, that woman is shining her light and scaring this woman, because now this woman has to go, well, she's not even from here. She doesn't speak the language. She doesn't have the education. Yet instead of going into her fear consciousness, she goes, okay, what do I have? What can I do right now to survive and make my babies, like have money for my babies? That kind of light is scary for another woman to be in. It's highly activating and triggering at the same time. Some people choose to be triggered by it, and some people choose to be enlivened by it and being, wow, if she can do it, wow, what's waiting out there for me? Such a great point. Gossiping equals modern day burning women. Yes, yes. Feel like feminine is potential energy and masculine is. My dear Raki, you have this way of taking really deep spiritual concepts, and instead of letting them penetrate you and asking your guides to reveal them in a way that makes sense to you, you have a way of taking the most spiritual, deeply embodied concepts and making them super logical and head-centered and like so complicated that not only do you not get it, the way you question your stuff, and I say this with love, it makes absolutely no sense to me, and I'm saying this with so much love. You've been in I know you're in the Goddess program, and you've posted a lot of questions in that Facebook group, and I want you to get in this habit of taking the information and asking for divine guidance on how you can embody it. Because a lot of times I get something really, really well and live it and embody it, and then you'll ask me a really weird, complicated question about it, and I'm just like, huh? That's most of the time with your questions. And I know you really struggle with this, and I'm really just being called to be super honest with you. It doesn't matter. How are you engaging with that information? How do you sleep with that information? How do you breathe it in? How do you eat it? How do you dance with it? How do you engage with it? How does it activate you? That is all that counts. That's it. That's all that counts. I posted this video in my magnetism group yesterday, in the closed group, about several people were saying, what's the difference between guides and angels? Why do we call on guides versus angels? And different things like that. And I went back and answered something that my own divine guides had answered for me. That when you ask for a question to be answered, when you ask the divine, when you ask your guides, you are given the answer in two streams. There's two things that they are considering. The one thing they're considering is well, there's more than one. There's more than two, but let me tell you these two. The first thing they're considering is what is your level of consciousness, and they give you the information based on that level. And secondly, they give it based on what does this person need right now. This is why a lot of times people, like, they have this faith and they know God exists, but they can't completely relate to religion, or they can relate to it, but they want more. The reason for this is because at the time that people ask questions, and at the time that that religion was channeled through some really high like high vibrational beings, there was a level of consciousness there. And that was the information that was given at the time. That doesn't mean that information is incorrect. It just means that that was the information given for that time and space in that moment, right? So now that we are evolved as a species and as a collective consciousness, we also need new information. And this is why all of a sudden there's this huge need for spirituality, because now we're saying, okay, I get it. I resonate with religion. I get it, but yet I have more questions. Yet I need a few more answers. And so this is why you have to ask your own questions, get the answer, and see like how that resonates with you. And then also when you ask other people, compare notes, but don't be confused by it. So I like finding out what other people's guides told them, because their guides told them stuff based on their level of consciousness, which may be higher than mine, and also what they needed, and that might awaken something in me. However, I never disjudge or misjudge my own guides, because that's saying your guides are better than mine. That's not how it works, right? It's like what I need to hear is what my guides are telling me. And the level of consciousness that I'm at, that's what I need to know right now, and I need to trust in that. When we come from a place of, I don't have the answers, I'm not going to trust the answers I have, someone else has to give them to me, that's when there's a problem, because there's a level of violation against our own intuition, and there's a level of violation against our own divine guides. So I hope that that answers that question. So true, Mina, when you say this. I had gone through the same thing, like, I'm so educated, I'm so good with so many things, then why can't I do what the other women does who doesn't even know how to speak English? So, and that's awakening, right? Like, there's a level of, we all have the activation gene, we all have the hardworking gene, we all have the goddess gene, we all have the queen gene, we all have the God gene in us. It's dormant, we haven't activated it. When we see someone else activate certain genes, the reason we're even noticing it is because it also resonates with us and we need to activate it. Sometimes that can be highly triggering, and we end up calling that woman names and all kinds of things. I've done this in my lower level of consciousness days, where I've called women all kinds of names and then gone, why is this woman so getting on my nerves? What is she here to teach me? Why does she annoy me so much? Oh, because she's fully living in her life and not apologizing, and I'm over here playing small. That's why she's triggering me. It's easier to call her names and discount her and make sure everyone else dislikes her than to admit that she's got something that I'm dying to have. That's what it is. Okay. She said, I'm open to expanding my consciousness, and I get aha moments when we tell me from different consciousness. I totally get it, and I appreciate that. But sometimes your questions are so deeply brain and ego centered that they can take really deep, like, spiritual concepts and just I just feel like there's a level of, I don't know, there's just a level of like mistrust in the information. There's a level of not honoring your own spirituality, your own divinity. There's a level of, I need this to be whole, that if I know this, then I will be loved. If I know this, then I will be worthy. It's not this natural kind of opening up of divinity. There's a level of forceness to it. I know you feel this. I know you do. I'm a intuitive empath, so I know what I'm reading is true for you on some level, because this is what I've always felt from a lot of your questions. They, most of the time, I'm sorry, they don't even make sense, because you're taking very deep. Remember how I talked about spirituality is not fact-based. Let me say this so many times that it resonates. Spirituality is not fact-based. When we think spirituality is fact-based, we start having wars against other people for having the wrong facts, right? There's hate, there's separation. So I really want you to understand that there is only one grand source. You can call it different names, and they're all valid. Those are the different names that have been given to different people. They're all valid. So when we go from this place of like, we have to figure this out intellectually, that's not spirituality at all. That is the spiritual ego, which I've talked about before. Spiritual ego is learning all the right lingo and all the right jargon, and then having a highly evolved ego pretend like we're spiritual and we're not. And so that's where I get a lot of your questions are kind of like wrapped up in that. And I say this with so much love, because and maybe I'm not getting it, but most of you wrote to me 3 questions just a few weeks ago when I was going to do the other live. I did not understand any of them. They just did not make sense, because we're taking spiritual concepts and trying to explain them in a very rational way. And spirituality is not rationality. It's deep internal personal knowing. It's deep internal personal knowing. So take this information and do something with it on a cellular level, versus just, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to study this. So spirituality, another way of saying it, it's not a study, it's an awakening. It's deep, energetic, embodied knowing. Maggie said, I feel so much more awakened since I met you, Mina. I'm doing the work. Thank you for this. You are welcome. I know you're doing the work. I know you show up consistently. You ask yourself the hard questions. You call yourself out on your smallness when you need to, and you're constantly transcending. And you understand that this is, it is a personal, deeply embodied journey, and it takes time, and you've just been rolling with it. I see your journey. I see it. When there's a push and a pull, and I must get this, and I have to figure this out, and like, if you are trying to study spirituality as if you're studying math, there's gonna be some, like, it's not gonna feel good, because you're gonna have all this data, and it's not gonna be activating. I honestly, to the person I was speaking before, I feel like you are so much more spiritually knowledgeable than I can ever be. I hope that I live up to the level of reading and study that you have done spiritually. Although, here's the but, here's the and you do not trust yourself. You do not trust your own level of divinity. You do not trust your knowledge, and you're constantly seeking this outside level of acknowledgement and approval. But what I want for you, as my divine sister, as my daughter, as my mother, as my soul sister, what I want for you is, I want you to trust that what you know is enough, that you are enough, that you have the right information, that you have all the information, and that you have all the answers within you. That's my wish for you. That's your next level that I'm hoping that somehow I can awaken. I wonder what's your opinion on ancient science of astrology. That's one of those two where I've like, astrology, no. And then it pulled me in, and I think there's a lot of, let me say first that I think that we're just at the tip of the surface of what we understand about astrology. And I think it's one of those beautiful spiritual works that have been misguided and misinterpreted, and all of those beautiful things, just as religion and all spirituality. But I think that there's a lot of magic there, a lot of alchemy there. I've myself been pulled in that direction, and I teach some of it in my magnetism program, what's relevant to the manifesting part. So I would say that I am deeply being called in that direction, and there's a lot of magic to be explored there. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go back and read some more comments. And while you guys go and check out, even if it's something you don't think you're ready to do, go and read the sales page for the High-End Divinity University. You know, this is where it's kind of like when we want to buy the house, we're afraid to go look at the house because we don't have the money. But when you go look at the house, the money comes up. When you go drive the car, the money manifests. When you go walk into Louis Vuitton, all of a sudden you feel like Louis Vuitton on the inside. Like that's the level. So don't ever do this to yourself. I know I used to do this, like, oh, I don't have the money for that yet, so I can't try that on. Yeah, I'm gonna try it on, and then the money will show up. So go check it out, even if you're not ready for it, and see if it's speaking to you. Let's see. Oh my God, every single sentence you said, it's been 2 days and I have been so afraid to go out to drive and ride on the roads. I was wondering if I could imagine before I go out physically. So perfect. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You are above Louis. Thank you. Thank you, thank you guys. This is just one woman's journey. Imagine if you activated yourself, you healed yourself. Like what kind of a ripple effect would it create in your field, in your house, in your community, with your children, with your partners, with your clients? Like, what's your next level, right? And you might not be ready to go into the High-End Divinity University yet. Start with the High Value Worthy Ascension, as I mentioned. I don't know if all of you guys know, I send out these weekly love letters to my email list every Sunday. This Sunday will be love letter 4, so I've just started. And I announced in there that the High Value Worthy Woman Toolkit is having its own ascension. So that program was created, many years ago. And in my mind, I always knew that at some level I would have a level 2 of that. So if you have it, you don't have to buy anything else. On February 2, so 2/2/2/2020, the High Value Worthy Woman turns into High Value Worthy Woman Ascension, and I'm adding a whole new 2.0 version in there. So if you don't have that, you can purchase that. That's a great way to start your inner work journey. I know it's scary to invest money in yourself. I get emails from women saying, Mina, I bought your program. I haven't even taken it yet, but I feel different. My body's tingling. I feel different. It's because you just stepped into a different portal. You just gave yourself permission. You just invested in yourself. You said that I am worthy enough to invest in myself. And I know that the time, energy, money investment can be scary, but let me tell you this. Do you think that anything I have ever invested in myself was wasted? Or every fiber, cell in my body, every gene, every inch of me is radiating all of that investment and then some out into the God space energy? That is where all the activations come from. All of the investments that I made in myself were little mini ahas. They were little mini permissions that I gave to myself. They were little mini confirmations that I am worthy, that I can call on divine supply of abundance and say, that would be nice. I don't know how the money is going to come. I don't care. But I do know that that thing and me, we are both connected through divine source. So if divine plan wants me to have that, somehow I'm going to have that. And then poof, it would happen. But I have to align myself and give myself permission to do that first. If I sit around saying, I can't have that, I'm going to tell you guys a story. This is kind of embarrassing. I'm jumping with joy. You are already creating awakening. I love you guys so much. Raviti said, oh my God, seriously, thank you. I have been asking the divine for a new house. Even in the smallest examples you would quote, answers life-changing questions. God is great. I need to hear this. Yes, yes, yes. So my mom, she wasn't from a wealthy family. And unlike her sisters who married really wealthy men, like my mom married my dad, and he was an immigrant here. So, she came here and she had to struggle, like she had to make her own way with him. So my dad was from a wealthy family, but he had kind of given all that up to come here and like start his life around. So one of the things that my mom would always point out to me is one of my mom's sisters was married to a really wealthy man, and when she would come visit, my mom would take her to the mall. We would go out to eat and all this stuff, and my aunt would never go into any stores at the mall. Like, she would walk the mall, but she would not go into the stores. And my mom would say, like, let's just go, like, let's look at stuff. And she refused to go in, and my mom would even say, I'm gonna buy you something, or you don't have to buy anything, or here's some money. Like, my mom tried everything. She would buy her stuff, she would take it, but she would never go into the stores. Because in her mind, like, her husband had said, don't spend any money. So she just wouldn't give herself permission to even walk into the store. Even though he was wealthy, they could afford it. Like, they were just those kind of people, like, you just didn't spend money. So I grew up watching her. Like, they would visit every couple of years. And I saw this woman, just my mom, and a lot of people say that I look exactly like her. Like, I was supposedly supposed to be the one that's like her twin, because I look exactly like, I should have been her daughter kind of thing. So my mom used to tell me stories of like when they were growing up, like, she loved nice clothes, she loved jewelry, she loved shoes, she loved makeup. Everyone that would come visit to their house, like, would like bring her stuff, because she was the daughter that like loved all this. Like, she was me, basically. Like, let's just be honest, she liked nice things, and I like nice things. So I watched this woman just like, so when she would come to visit us for like 3 months, she would bring 2 outfits with her. Like, that's all her husband would buy her. She would just have 2 outfits. And like, she would like constantly have to wash them, and my mom would just go out and buy her more outfits or give her her outfits. Like, the whole thing was kind of just ridiculous. And so my mom's thing was, if I could just get her to go into a store. So this is like what we do to ourselves. Like, when we don't even give ourselves permission to go walk into the university, to go click on the sales page, to go walk into the Chanel boutique, to go drive the car that we want, to go and talk to the guy that makes us nervous because like he may be the one, to go to the open house. Like, there was this young couple I was talking to not too long ago. They were saying that they are saving up money. They want to buy their house. And I was like, oh, so you guys probably are having so much fun going to open houses. And they're like, no, we can't go to any open houses until we have the down payment. Why not? What if I told you, if you go to the open houses, the down payment will arrive faster? Why not? Do it. What's the worst? I always tell myself, I have a whole soul's worth of journey that I've taken. I don't know how many more I have, probably a lot more, as I'm still not merged back into God consciousness, right? I still have a long way to go. So I'm going to die trying because I'll just come right back here again. If my journey is not done, I'll come right back. I'm going to die trying. And guess what? When I tell myself that command that I'm going to do it anyways, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it anyways, I do it anyways, and then I'm not afraid. And then I'm not afraid the next time, and then I'm not afraid the next time, and then I'm not afraid anymore. And again, I started this whole live stream by telling you the story of how my child said, Mommy is afraid of everything. And now my children say, this woman needs to be watched 24/7. She's nuts. Watch Mommy. Literally, if you heard the conversations that my children have about me, you would think that I'm the wild child that they need to protect at all times now. I went in the opposite direction, but that's what happens when awakening and facing your fears and personal powers and all of activations layer on, and you become fearless, because you realize the worst thing that can happen to you is that you die, and then you come and you do it all over again. So then I'm gonna die trying anyways. Let's just do it. I don't want to live a life of fear. I don't want to live a small life. I want to go into the store. Like, I know that my mom didn't have the kind of woman that her sister, or the kind of money that my sister did. Her sister did, but she was a fearless woman. Like when she wanted something, she made it happen, right? My mom, who I've shared with you guys, was 4'11", right? In the years preceding her death, this woman was making over $400,000 a year. I swear my dad used to say that her English gets progressively worse every year after living in the US. So she didn't speak perfect English. Her bachelor's degree was from Pakistan. It wasn't from here. She wasn't raised in some highly educated, activated family. She said that she was often told that she wasn't pretty enough to get married, that she had dark skin and that no one would love her, and that her sisters would get married and that she wouldn't get married. Like, this is the situation that she was born into. And this woman made life happen. This woman made life happen. I am the 2.0 version of her. This is where this comes from. So if you want your children to be fully activated and embodied and living their true lives, you better start your healing work now. Let them go. Stop worrying about them. Stop inflicting them with your fear consciousness and start your journey. Start your journey. I love the message, like, Yoda, don't try, just do. There's no try. Oh, I have not heard that before. Yoda, I'll have to check that out. Yes. 2/2 is the day of Virgin de la Candelaria. I probably butchered that. The Virgin of Fire. Girl, that sounds like my kind of lady. And you are the fire and flow lady. Divine connection. Love that. Oh my goodness, yes. And that's why, I know there's a talk about feminine flow. I'm all about the feminine flow. But what good is flow if it also isn't fire? The feminine is also fire. The feminine, guess what Mother Nature is? Do you think Mother Nature is demure and quiet? Or do you think it like shakes some shit up? Tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, anyone? All Mother Nature, all feminine energy. So stop sitting around asking for permission and give it to yourself so other people can have permission too. Let's do it, ladies. Like, this is the year. Let's activate it. Let's activate it. It's activated. It is done. It's done. I am fully activated now. I'm fully activated now. I may not have all the answers, but they are being revealed to me one by one. As I up-level my consciousness, the divine gives me answers that I need according to divine plan and divine design. May I be a clear channel of the divine. May consciousness and love and light and fire and flow just flow through me in divine light to the highest good of all beings. Whatever needs to be released in me, come up and release it. I release it. I release it. Whatever needs to be released, whatever needs to be healed, I'm ready to take a look at it. I'm ready to release it so that I can stay connected to the divine and I can be a clear vessel. And so it is, ladies, and so it is. Go and check it out, High-End Divinity University, or if you're taking baby steps, High Value Worthy Woman Ascension. I'll link it. Ladies, this is the year. If we are the witches incarnated, let's make these ladies proud. Let's make them proud. We are in a better time. We've had women that have set the stage for us. They have lost their lives, their souls, their flesh, tears and blood, so that we can have our freedom. Stop sitting around and not doing anything with it. Like, we have been given all of the privileges. Let's take advantage of it. Let's rock this world. Like, let's really activate it. Let's light this shit up. And let's do it with love, grace, and divine service. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Bye.